So hello and welcome to this week's angling blog. This week you're going to join myself on a short session after Joshua's played rugby on the banks of the river in search of quality fish. Before we get into that video though, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody that left a really nice comments on last week's video. It's been an amazing experience this week, reading all those comments, all the lovely comments that everyone left about how understanding they were, and it really has been great to read all them comments. And thank you very much. Putting the videos on the channel is a huge commitment, but I do feel like a bit of that pressure has been released now in last week's video, and you all being so understanding. It is a huge commitment putting a weekly video on the channel, but also it being seasonal, so you know it follows the weeks of the year and all different types of fishing. It really is a challenge to put that together, and to do it for so many years is something that I'm really proud of. Going forward, I am really hoping to continue to do that. I'm going to try my hardest to get a video out on the channel every Friday at 6 PM, but I appreciate all the understanding you've shown. Let's waste no time at all, let's get into the video, and I do hope you enjoyed this week's video. If you do, please leave it a like, subscribe down below. Me and Joshua, after training, we're going to head off home for some tea. I hope you enjoy the video. So hello and welcome to this week's angling blog. This week you join me on a short afternoon session. We're on the river and we're going to be targeting hopefully some quality fish again on this small little stream. Conditions look really good, there's a bit of pace on the water, and I've decided today to just go down a much closer in line here down the middle. You can see there's a bit of depth on that line, what we got, about 4 to 5 foot. So we're going to start nice and easy, only go hard if we have to. Conditions, overcast, so we've got some good conditions today for fishing a stick float. You see in the margins we've got plenty of obstacles to contend with, so I'm looking forward to a couple of battles to come hopefully on this short session. Looking to target quality fish, I've gone with my 13-foot core and glide, and on there I've got 6-pound line. The reel I'm using is the Axis 2 reel, 3000, balances perfectly with a 13-foot rod. Down to the business end I've got a 6 number 4 stick float. It's going to give me the presentation just a hold back, but I can dot it right down to that tip like that. Down to the business end I've got a bulk shot of number 4 Dinsmore weights. That's down to one of the cordon pre-tied hook links, and that's down to 6-pound line and a size 12 hook. Looking at the side tray, super simple. We've got some sweet corn and we've got some of the Hinders crumb, and in there I've put a small tin of sweet corn as well. You see there, nice perfect mix. Just going to go to the bottom and break down. And again, we are hoping to target them quality chub and the bream that live in this small river. The first thing I did when I arrived in the swim is plumb the depth, and when we have a look at the swim from that point of view, 4 to 5 foot deep here, and it does go down to around about 6 or 7 as you go out. I'm going to start nice and easy down this line. I'm going to feed my corn here and put my bread about here, so I'm running over the top of that downstream, so that's like a good marker to go down there. I'm just going to run the float over the top. I'm going to take it nice and easy, probably feed a ball like that to begin with, because you never know what snags are down there and we might have to go further out. So yeah, I'm starting nice and simple, little ball like that every put through, just to build the swim. And at the start of this video I would have mentioned about a huge thank you to everybody who left the nice comments on the video, and this is a classic example of what I was talking about. We've been out this morning, he's played rugby, and you can see that on screen now. He's had a cracking game again for the Hornets. And this afternoon I've grabbed the minimum of tackle and I'm heading out. As we move into winter it's going to get harder, the days are going to get shorter and the sessions and opportunities are going to get shorter, but I'm hoping that I can manage the two. Everything at the moment in life is busy, work's busy, life's busy, and I'm hoping to keep me fishing busy as well. And on these sessions where they are short, it's always good when you go in on the first cast and get a bite. And good that we're going a bit closer in than previous sessions, and we're straight into them chublets. I'm going to get them straight in. You can see there's a bit of a tinge of colour in the water there, which is going to help us. And what a lovely start that is to the session. And that's the type of quality that we want to be getting. You know, chub like that, chublets. We don't want any of the really small fish that are in the river, the small little roach. We're after quality fish, and it's good to get one on the first cast. And we've literally just fed a tiny little nugget of that bread and a few grains of corn at the moment, so we're going to take it nice and easy, because you will always catch just what's coming to the area, and small rivers like this can be a bit, you know, feast at the start and lead to famine. So again, taking it nice and simple, just a few grains of corn. I'm going to put another little dollop of that bread in, just flicking out. You can see there, just in line with that shadow, I've just fed some of the corn into the swim, and a bit more of that bread just going over the top of it now. It's hard holding the phone and trotting at the same time, but just trying to give you an idea of the line that we're going down. And then reflections are good because they do give you, and there we go, you can see there, another bite. I was going to say them reflections are a good test for how far you want to be going out and working your line out. There's another one of these chub just trying to get down the margin. We'll get him in straight away. Over the years doing YouTube, I've said many a time, you can learn a lot on YouTube of, you know, the tactics and the basics, but there's no substitute for getting out there and learning your rivers. This is a classic example of time spent on a river. I've got a few hours to spare. Come out and get a few bites. And I'm just going to take it nice and simple, a few grains of corn going in. We have got all afternoon if you want it until dark, but I'm just going to fish it until the bites run out. You know, it is only a small river and there are only so many fish going to be in your area. So yeah, just going to take it nice and simple. Lovely fishing at the moment, exactly what we come for. And plenty of bites to begin with. And these chub going in every little bit of cover they can find. Great fun. And the third chublet of the session in 3 casts. It's a good start. What we're doing is we're just going over the top of that bait, holding back. You can see there, that float held up a little bit. There's plenty of fish there. These are really fish that we were trying to avoid, to be honest with you, but you can see there, another little chublet. Again, just feeding a few grains of that corn into the swim. I can see it falling down, so I can judge the depth at which it's falling. It should be hitting the bottom round about there where our bread is, on the bottom. And I've put the balls over an area, you can see there. Lovely fishing and hooked into our first bait. Oh, he's come off, and that's not ideal, losing a bream in the swim like that. Most definitely. But it's nice and early on. And yeah, thumbs down. You really wanted to get him in. You see there, feeding that ball nice and close into the bread. A few grains of corn. I'm just going over the top. And yeah, losing fish is never ideal, but I think as you get older, you do realise and get to terms with it quicker, and you just think there's nothing you can do about it. You've just kind of got to get on with it and hope that there's more of them down there. Just hooking the corn nice and simply through the hook like that. Dead simple. Like I said at the start, the simple tactics. A bulk shot of weights and a float. It doesn't come much simpler. I think that one's come slightly out of shot, that one. I'm not sure whether it was in shot or not, but yeah. Did think that them bream wouldn't be alone. You can see there. Quality fish. Exactly what we come for. A bend in that glide. We did lose a bream early on, and it hasn't taken too long for another one to be about, and that's what it's all about. Just coming and getting a bend in the rod and some bites, and we've had a bite of chuck since we've started. We've just lost that one bream, but we'll get him in and we'll take a look. We won't bother holding him up for camera. Well, that's a lovely bronze bream, that. So using my really big Dinsmore rubber landing net, plenty of room in it. You can see there, beautiful bronze bream. Every time I see this slime on the line now, I remember reading the comments on a recent blog, and I couldn't believe there's people out there that actually leave that on the line to give the fish confidence. Each of their own, and that's the beauty of fishing. It is whatever you want it to be. Float has just buried again. It's taken a few more casts, this one. That's what it's like sometimes when you're dealing with quality fish. They will move out and back in again, but look at that for a lovely bream. Got a nice bend in that glide A quality fish on the other end. That's exactly what we come for. And on a stick float, that is a proper bream. That definitely a slabber dabber do. Great fun. Whoever says they don't fight on rivers doesn't know what they're talking about, because when that turns side on in the flow, you know about it. And the float proper buried that time. And you know when it's a decent bream when it doesn't come up to the top initially. And this one is proper fighting. Let's see. Doing what Chub do, really. We are around these brambles here. And this is what I mean about having the power in the rod, really, to guide it around snags like that. And that's another proper bream, that is a proper bream, hooked right in the top of its nose, so we'll have to be careful. But yeah, it's exactly what I mean about having the power in the rod. So despite the warm summer that we've had, nature doesn't hold back, and the changes are all there to see. You can see the brown starting to appear as the bankside vegetation begins to die back. And another sign are the bream coming on the feed, because these fish will know that change is on the way. So you can see there, we've had one or two of them small chublets move in, and then them bream have moved back in again. And that's exactly how it seems to happen. And you can read the river in that regard, that when you're not getting these fish, you're getting them chublets, and these must definitely push them fish out. But yeah, great fun. Perfect days. Rugby in the morning with the little lad. Fishing in the afternoon. He played proper good this morning, proper forwards game, driving that ball in. And yeah, I'll have work in the week where I'll be busy, so today, that bit of outside fresh air will get me through the week ahead. Right over that loose fed corn that I've been putting in, that float has just buried. And you can't beat that feeling of seeing that float disappear. You strike and the float doesn't come out the water. You know you're into a decent fish. And yeah, this one definitely just buried out of sight, and got a proper bend in that glide now. I don't know what it is, whether it's a chub or a bream. Oh, it is a bream. I thought it might have been a chub for the second. And that has come right over that loose fed corn, so it shows, you know, just feeding two separate areas but hoping they meet at the same area does work. And these bream will come right up on that loose feed and not just sit over that ground bait. And that is a proper slabber dabber do. Beautiful colours, almost olive in its head. A great fight on that bream, and all of a sudden them bream are just there. Next trot down and we're into another one. And yeah, great fun. Just lined up at the moment, one or two of them. You can see there, he's coming in much easier than his dad or mum that was the last one. We've had a few of these bream now on this short session, haven't we? And it's been well worth the effort coming out. A few chublets, and now a few of these bream are definitely moved in. And these bream are definitely lined up now. And yeah, it's almost like you can't miss. They're really on that bread and that corn. And so we haven't gone mad feeding it. Took it nice and easy. This one is going upstream. But like you can see down there, we haven't gone too mad with the feed. We've fed a bit of corn. We've got plenty of that bread left, so we've not gone mad. We took it nice and easy and fed to bites, and these fish have definitely moved in now. So I've just checked my watch and we're coming up to just over 2.5 hours fishing, and what a 2.5 hours it's been. We've had plenty of bites and plenty of sport, and exactly what we wanted when we nipped out this afternoon. Another quality bream coming to the net. So I think we'll call this the last one of the session. It's just coming up to the 3-hour mark, and yeah, a nice way to end with another bream. And there'll be a few in that final net for sure. So I'm sure if we stayed on, we'd get a few more of these bream, and into evening they might come on even stronger. But an itch has been scratched for me. 3 hours on the bank, plenty of bites, and we'll take a look at that final net now.